Hi everyone, JMJ. Welcome to another session of Wednesday Friday Monthly Workshop. Today I have with me a very important speaker. His name is Adekuli. He's a blockchain developer and he's here to teach us how to build our own first app. So let me have it to the stage. Welcome. Hello, Adekuli. Welcome. This time on your video camera.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Thanks for
hi.
having me. Yeah, hi,
You're
how are
welcome.
you doing?
You're
Yeah, thank
welcome.
you very much.
Alright.
So,
So
sorry, before you continue, do I keep on my camera or I can off it?
no, you can just keep it up, please. Keep it up.
Oh, no problem.
Uh, so is Adekunle is about to start this section. The first thing is going to share his slide, and is going to start with like a little introduction of what Web3 is and every other thing. So I can see from the comment section. All right, let me put off the music before that. So please get prepared, prepare your slide and all. Are you done? All right. Are you ready? You're muted. All right. Add it to the stage.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to
you
share
can.
my screen now.
All right.
Come in, please. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah. Let me add that to the stage now. So okay.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. And I'm Adekunle Steven. Thanks for having me. Yeah, and it's a privilege to be with you here, Kosi. Yeah, so I will be presenting now. So the topic we are considering is building your first decentralized app. So and of course I crossed out decentralized here because definitely for some of you it might not be your first, but it's nice to have you on board with us also. So building your first decentralized app, what is decentralized application and how and the things we are going to look under consideration, we're going to check out decentralization, blockchain, what are decentralized applications, smart contracts, the brains of dApps, front-end development for dApps. So yeah, we it's going to be a workshop. So I'm going to do some add-on coding, for you to see. We're going to have some hands-on practices and all. Yeah. So, Kosi, are you still here with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and to run through it, quickly, what is decentralization? And of course, I have here things that often come to our mind when we hear decentralization and stuff like that. So people ask, was anything centralized? Was anything decentralized? And all. And of course, for most of us who have been a developer, I believe a bunch of people hearing me are developers or that are going to check on these things. So you mostly will be coming from a background of Web 2 and majorly probably you've been hearing about Web 3 and all. So the idea of decentralization, is to create a single point of data storage and entry. And to move from a single point of data storage and entry to a decentralized or distributed form, where we have different means to which we can share data. So I said traditionally web application relies on decentralized server controlled by a single entity. So say Google, for an instance, they have a their server and they are in charge of it. They are, they own control of it and things like that. But decentralization is where such system is now shared, in the hands of many people and all. So thereby eliminating a central authority. So the idea is decentralization. The idea is, distributed data and removing, a singular source of entry, towards data. And that brings the idea of, security and all. And of course, would have heard about blockchain. So blockchain is the backbone of decentralization. And I hope I'm not too fast. Yeah. So blockchain is the backbone of decentralization, and blockchain technologies, underpins the idea of decentralization. And like I wrote, I said it's a distributed ledger and a shared database of records across networks of computers. So each record will be like a block, contains data and unique hash. So data are secure on the blockchain through this system of cryptography, or encryption called cryptography, in that sense. And these blocks are kind of chained together chronologically, so creating an immutable record and transparent and resistant to tampering. So the idea is data on blockchain are chronologically joined together, and they are secure and they are immutable. That is, they can't be altered. So yeah, and that's so the idea is that this secure and transparent data storage is what makes dApps. What are dApps? dApps are decentralized application, the decentralized apps application. So they are what makes it possible and all. And would have heard about Ethereum and things like that. So Ethereum is a blockchain. Um, and there's several blockchains. We have CoreDAO, we have AirDAO, we have Starknet, and of course, the popular one, the first one, Bitcoin. So, decentralized applications, so they are built on blockchain, they run on a decentralized networks, and there is no central authority that is in control of data. Users have more control over their data. And what do I mean by that? I don't know, probably any of us at any point I felt like maybe someone is spying on you while you running your applications or do something on your social medias and all. For instance, personally, when I go through platform like X or Facebook Meta platforms and things like that, there are times that you see your feeds and you feel like what sort of algorithms is at play here. Things you checked on other sites, they it's automatically become the ads, the suggestion pop up. So you're using another platform and then you're on another platform and you are seeing that what you checked out is what was being suggested to you in form of ads and things like that. That means that you know these data are being used, they are being sold and all, and it will hurt people in certain way, in several ways, when you feel like your data, as other people can use it, other people have access to it and things like that. And decentralization just makes sense to us. And you know, there are several applications that already moved onto the blockchain today, and of course, we are still looking for more adoptions, of blockchain in the, in our ecosystem generally. And of course, the popular one we have Uniswap, a swap, platform, and not very popular actually. We have Aave, which is a lending and borrowing protocol where you can lend and borrow. We have OpenSea, which is a marketplace, the first and the most popular marketplace in that sense. Of course, some argue against that. And we have several marketplaces. We have Magic Eden and all. And then we have Fakasta. Fakasta is a social media protocol, on the Web3, ethos and all. So that's social media. And of course, I included some. T-River is a token streaming application and platform. This was designed by some of my colleagues, and we have Machinat, we have Cointon, we have Machinat. Machinat is a protocol I worked on, and it's a marketplace, suppose marketplace, and classmates is a and how should I put it now? It's a platform that allows to keep attendance. It's for attendance management and no, and it was created by Web3 Bridge and all, and it's managed by the community. And so there are several applications like I've mentioned. And of course, if you have heard of MetaMask before, you've heard of something like Rabbi wallets, Phantom, Bravos, Agents, all of these I mentioned, they are wallets. And of course, it shouldn't be that complicated. We're in a world where people are tapping, tapping on their phone on Telegram, tap swap or stuff like that, and they ask you to connect wallet or stuff like that. So all of these things, they are things that signify decentralization. So yeah, we're going to understand better as we move on. So I said from the early days of Ethereum. Why do I use Ethereum? Ethereum is a blockchain itself, and of course, Ethereum first brought about the idea of Web3, not blockchain now, Web3. And what do I mean by that? Where we have a system where we can use blockchain to create application. So the idea before Ethereum was let's have money or assets in a decentralized form. Then Ethereum came in and it brought many dynamics to it upon which many blockchains and now have thought about scaling it in different aspects and form. And so that's why I went to Ethereum. So the Ethereum founders vision was much broader than smart contracts, no less than reinventing the web and creating a new world of dApps, aptly called Web3. So smart contracts are a way to decentralize the controlling logic and payment functions of application. Sorry, please. Sorry. Yeah. So Web3 are about decentralizing all other aspects of an applicant's storage, messaging, naming, etc. So now the idea is for everything you have on Web2, or I will use most things because we're still advancing in Web3. But for most things you have on Web2, you can think about it in Web3 space also, where you bring about them in a decentralized form, where there is no singular point of entry and no single individuals in control of such applications and not. And what do I mean by this now? Ideally, in our Web3 space, we have something like back end, we have front end, we have data storage, we have message computations, we have naming and all of those things, and all HTTPs and all for communications. But now, when we think about the Web3 aspect of it, then we think about smart contracts. So if you've heard about smart contracts before, then this is to manage the logic behind the front end, the interface. I get it. I mentioned Uniswap, I mentioned Makinet, I mentioned Classmates, I mentioned Navi, and all of these things. They have a UI user interface where people can interact with those things. So, but there is a smart contract, which is like the brain of what people relate with and all. So, and the front end, of course, that's the user interface. We have your can be created with the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and when you use frameworks like React and Nest, and of course, data storage. Now, in Web3, to treat data in a more decentralized form. And what do I mean by data? Okay, let me be clear. So, let's say you don't want to save images on chain or videos on chain because it's large and it's expensive in that sense. There are decentralized server where you can save them, and I'm going to show a sample before we leave. But there are decentralized server where you can save them and all, and this decentralized storage is also some kind of P2P platform. So they are decentralized. There is no singular entity in control. You can go there and the image is available on a P2P form. And I believe some of us, maybe that love movies and all, we might have used some P2P platform, before in that sense. So we have IPFS, we have Swamp platform, implemented into the Go client of Ethereum and all. And the message communications, you have the Whisper protocol and things like that. I don't want to bore you with a lot of those things, but it's not compulsory. You have to get hang of this whole thing before you start, writing your decentralized application. But of course, knowledge is good and is key to make you a better developer. And ENS, that's Ethereum naming system. You must have heard of it. Maybe you've gone on Chain and you saw that instead of people using addresses, because we use address for your wallet. So there are people using addresses in the wallet, you see their name appearing. And that's through a means called Ethereum naming system. So the address is tied to a name, in that sense. And this is like a picture should showcase what I just mentioned about DApp. So that means the component of DApp will include the smart contracts, and that's Ethereum contract. This is like decentralized storage, the IPFS and all. This is like a protocol by which those things communicate and all, and your node communicates in that sense. But don't let me go into the dynamics of that. And of course, on the front end, you have the HTML, CSS, and these are means by which you query your data and everything on the chain. Yeah, that's it. And someone asked that is smart contract the only backend means and not to communicate with data? And of course, smart contracts are important. There are also back-end services you can write up, but you have to move them on a decentralized platform to make them more decentralized. I get it now. So hence we have things like chain links, or they are generally called oracles. So they are off-chain data that you can feed to your smart contract. And if you are going to have off-chain data as an oracle, you can also make them decentralized. I guess now. We have some still centralized these days and all, but we are working towards much decentralization in that sense. So we have oracles and other things that can feed data to your smart contract on chain and not those Sarah, same way as your IPFS and everything. Yeah, so smart contract explain. So smart contracts, they are self-executing contracts on blockchain and they are written in code. So maybe you've heard about
So
solid. Yeah,
someone's asking what is SQML.
this
No, yes, yeah, I guess so. What's QML?
uh QM. Oh, that's to mean query. It's like ways you can query data on your GS. Okay, for you to no, you're on the front end. Let me go to Web2 Word. So on your browser on the front end, so let's say you have a database, you can use something like GraphQL or stuff like that to query data. So that means you query data from your backend server and then you have it on the front end and all. Now in the Web3 space, so there are what's the word now? I'm trying to get the word. Okay, so there are provider, not provider, that RPC URL, that's the word. So the RPC URL, JSON RPC, is a means by which we query data, and they could be in HTTP form or WSS form. But this RPC URL, they are means by which on the front end you can query data on chain, and you can write to the blockchain and read from the blockchain through those RPC URL. I know. So it's just to indicate query. I know. Am I clear on that?
Yes, I'm sure you can proceed.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, yeah, that's nice. If you have any question along the way, simply let us know. I will gladly, take your questions. So, coming to the next thing, smart contract explain. Sorry. So, smart contract, self-executing contract on blockchain, written in code, it's in solidity. So if you've heard about solidity before, so you are in a good place. You are going to see a solidity code today, but you can't learn the whole of solidity, believe me. But at least you will see and you will have an idea. So solidity is a language by which we it's the real language the EVM understand. What I mean by EVM is it's Ethereum virtual machine that understand is bytecode. But for you, so your Solidity code gets compiled down into bytecode, for your EVM to execute. So we write them in Solidity, so and they get compiled. So your compiler, we compile them and all into bytecode and for the EVM to execute. So for Ethereum, So this Solidity define rules that automate transaction on the blockchain and all. So it has its own syntax and everything, more like every languages you have around there, and it's very simple to understand. If you are coming from the route of web development, maybe you've seen JS before, you easily pick it up, or probably you are coming from the route of Rust or any other language, as a matter of fact, any other language, you easily pick it up. So yeah, for Solidity, there are different environments with which you can write Solidity code. The one I first learned was using ADAT, and then there's Remix. Remix is, I'm going to show you Remix pretty much after this slide presentation. You're going to see Remix. So there's Remix and there's Foundry. So Remix, if I move on, is an environment on the web. So imagine a VS Code that's on the web. It's they made it available so that it can be easy for developers to easily deploy contracts, write contract, and many things. So it's an environment on the web, and that's several plugins where you can write your smart contracts and deploy them on chain. So there's ADAT. So ADAT, more like like every framework also you have outside there. There's ADAT, and if you've used React before, and also it has its own packages and everything, you scaffold it, and you write your contract on it. And there is Foundry. Foundry is the one I really love to use, and it's developed by their team, and I think it's written in Rust and all. And you can write your smart contract on it, scaffold it, write your smart contract, deploy it, and that's a lot of interesting things that can help you, develop smart contract and all. Like I mentioned, all of these things you get hang of them over time and through learning and all. So you don't need to, kill yourself that you don't know Foundry or anything and feel like you can write a decentralized application at the beginning. It's all learning and all. And with others, I'm going to show you others today, probably a Foundry code base, probably, and we are going to see how everything looks like and all. And of course, your front end is for building user interfaces, and pretty well normal thing in normal web 2. We have React, Nest, HTML, CSS, DS, and there are libraries that helps you to interact with on-chain data, or to write into from your web into to the blockchain and things like that. And we have Ethers JS, Web3 JS, Third Web. So you can pick any of these. Personally, I use Ethers JS, Web3 JS. Really, I've read through Third Web documentation, and there is Vim too. Yeah, I use Vim. Vim is very good. They're very good. So it has Ethers JS, Web3 JS, and Third Web. There is Vim, and all of these things they are pretty good. And there's Web3 modal and Rainbow Kit. So these things are like abstraction. They help us abstract things, away from the normal JS or 3JS we know, and they just make development simpler for us. So they help to allow connection through your MetaMask and every other thing, and using these JS libraries and Vim libraries and all, like WAGMI and everything, to interact with your blockchain. Like I said, I've seen a lot of things. So just pick them
Um,
gradually.
Adekunle, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm with
Someone
you.
is asking if is Solidity the only smart contract language?
Oh no, 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 no. No, it's not. Let me put it this way. For Ethereum, your smart contracts are written in Solidity. Like I mentioned, remember I said that there are many chains. I get it now. We have layer one, layer two, layer three, and we have several layer ones. So there are many blockchains in that sense. So, and all of them have their virtual machine, and all of them have their language. And some, most of them uses Solidity. So just like they just use the same virtual machine that Ethereum developed, and make their own scalability on their protocol level and many things like that. I get me. So you can easily write solidity on many chains. And believe me, Solidity developers are in large demands and all. I get it now. So it's a good thing if you know Solidity. And I always advise people to start with Solidity if they are going to write on chain. But for Cairo, for instance, sorry, I said Cairo. For Starknet is a layer two blockchain on Ethereum. So it's a blockchain on its own, but built on Ethereum. That's how I call it layer two. So they have its own language too, and it uses Cairo language. So for a blockchain like Concordium, for instance, I think their smart contracts are written in Rust, in that sense. So there's several languages and different blockchains with their language, and but mostly in Solidity. I must believe that's clear. So, and to go to the last guy in the block, ABI. So ABI is application binary interface. Now, of course, if you are coming from a Web 2 background, you are going to know that they use APIs, API, and let's say they will say consume this API to get your data and all from your backend server. So ABI is generated also. So two things are generated when you compile your Solidity language. We have the bytecode and we have the API. So the API is used by the front end developer to serve as means to write to the chain. So more like think about it like an API in that sense, though not really API, but like an interface between which you can compute your data and all. And we are going to see an API today. Believe me, I'm going to show you an API and all. So, and to save our time, I think, oh, I was supposed to show you a GitHub link there. So, yeah, don't worry. Once this slide will be made available to Corsi, and there'll be a GitHub link that will contain GitHubs to link to code base to everything we're going to do. So pretty much, maybe I will have one in ADAT, I will have one in Foundry. I mean the backend code now, the Solidity. So I have all the smart contracts. I have one on ADAT, I have one on Foundry, and you are going to have front end, in like two. Yeah. Hopefully we are going to be able to write two contracts. Hopefully. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to my pep talk. Yeah, yeah. So I feel like I can stop sharing now. Any question before I move on? If I show you some code, Fabi, I say anything, you're sure you're clear about anything said. So I think that'll be all in that side. So yeah. Sorry, give me some minutes. Um so don't be afraid when you see, yeah, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah, so
Zoom
okay.
in. Like it's possible to zoom in.
Oh, okay, I can. Oh, interesting. If it's big enough, you can let me know.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, for some of you who haven't seen a Solidity contract before, this is how it look like. So, I've written several contracts on Remix for practice and to also deploy some and all. So, don't bother, being scared about all of these things. If you go on your on what's it called now, on your browser right now, and you
Um,
press Remix.
can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I
Someone
can
is
hear you.
asking what project are we building in this class? Are you building a specific project or we're just um looking at his normal code? What are we doing?
I'm looking at a way where we can deploy a setter getter, dApp where you can write to the chain and read from the chain. And maybe if time permits, we deploy an NFT contract and yeah, and you see maybe we build a front end for it too. time will permit.
Okay, so let's just proceed. We don't have much time.
Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, thank you very much. So this a contract. This let me close. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So this is a contract, and let me show you. It can be very long. Can be very long, depending on what you are trying to achieve. Depending on what you are trying to achieve, you know, can be longer. So yeah. So this is a simple contract. The first thing when you're writing a contract is to declare your license identifier. So, and then very important, this is not as very important as so, but it's a good practice. But you need to tell the version of compiler you're using. So for instance, if I do this now, let's say I remove it, it's going to screen. So let's say let me try and downgrade this to say point zero. Oh, I'm looking at a case where it's going to tell me it's trying to, yeah, so it's a updating compiler version to current contract by 0.76. So it's this guy uses compiler, and there are several versions of compiler and all. So we are using 0.8.20 for this, class. And um, there are several compiler versions I mentioned. So when you're going to declare your compiler, the pragma solidity and the version of your compiler, okay. So now this is the title of your contract. So it's more like the whole thing. So you say contract, you're going to give it a name, the name of your contract. You open a curly bracket and you close a curly bracket. So everything you are going to do will be inside that curly bracket. I know. So just like every language, so maybe I can make this simpler actually. So, but just like every language, you know, you have string, integers. Now this is doing 256, this is string. So you have string, you have integers. So more like every language. So to not say you, um, I'm trying to find something. I don't know. Okay, I think there is not much of something simpler I can bring out there. So yeah, you have variables. That's the word, in a normal JavaScript word. You have variables, and of course, that's the word here too. So you have your string. So numbers here are in uint or int. So uint is assigned integers. Int is, you know, normal integers, which will be positive or negative. So, and there are several uints, or all of these things. They are to signify bits. I guess now. So we have unit 8, which is like 1 byte. We have unit 16, you have unit 32, you have unit 64, and of course the biggest one is unit 256. So you can't exceed unit 256. So that's the mass unit of number you can write on chain, and when it comes to units. So yeah, and unit 256 is 32 bytes.
Can I
Okay.
hear you?
Question? Yeah, I'm with you.
Someone said, can you explain why all the open
Oh,
files are .so? Why is it
all
.so?
the okay. Let me say that. So when you have JavaScript, or let me say HTML, you have its name as say index.html. You have your JavaScript written as index.js or anything.js. So the same way to the when you name a file .so your environment treats it like a solidity code. Do you get what I'm saying now? So say you are on your VS Code, for instance, and you have something written as .so it's automatically seen by the environment as a solidity file. So solidify are in .so. That's their name extension. So normal text is .txt and so sorry about that. I should have said that. Sorry about that. So and of course you have arrays. So this is an array. This is an array of these structs of person. Now in case, let me try and make this simpler. You don't necessarily have to have struct. So struct is like structure for data. It's like a data structure. So what I'm really saying here is like I'm saying this person is taking this structure of data. So this person array is in this data structure. That's simply what I did there. Are you with me? So that's simply what I did there. But it's not compulsory you have it that way. Sorry about that. So it's not compulsory you have it that way. So I'm trying to look for something. Maybe that could be simpler. Also, if I have it here.
Um,
Yeah.
can you hear me? So I was
Yeah, I'm
thinking,
with
like,
you.
just to explain everything. I think we should just, since you have just explained what this contract is doing, the next thing we should just do is just deploy the contract and probably show them how to interact with, just to create a draft that we are meant to do right now. So I'll just
Okay,
explain
no
the
problem.
code.
Yeah, so this is to write. So you are passing in name, you are passing age, you are passing in sex, and then you are saving this. You are having them saved in this structure, and then you are pushing it into this array. And of course this is to get your details, so get the array of the person that you've written, so it's going to get it out. So that's pretty much what this contract is doing in that sense. Yeah. So of course, you can check out Solidity by Example and the Solidity book, and that's an important book which is what's the name now? The Ethereum book. Yeah, Ethereum book is like your first textbook, to read to get an hang of this thing. So you can read the Ethereum book, the Solidity by Example. You can practice there, and Solidity book and Ethereum.org also their major websites, and you can you have examples and explanation to all of these things. It's actually easy to understand when you get an hang of it.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. So what's the next thing you want to do now?
So we're going to deploy this contract. I'm still going back there. Sorry, I made a mistake closing it. So I'm going to show you how to deploy this contract on Remix. So this is Remix environment. We've written our contract and all. So to deploy, you come here, deploy and run contract. So yeah, you can deploy locally on Remix, and you can also deploy, through an data provider. And also Remix is all injected provider, and yeah, don't let me go into that. So you might have Face, Capcom, Mainnet, Sequoia. You can have able to see my browser. Let me try and share my browser so that you can see my MetaMask. That's going to work, and that's it. So I'm sharing my browser. Hope I've stopped sharing.
Yeah.
Have I stopped sharing? Okay. Um,
So what exactly are you doing right now? You want to take
I
me
want to
inside
share
the
my
key.
browser.
Okay.
I want to share my browser so that they can see. Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes. You can see your
Oh, okay.
wallet.
So here is a wallet. It's a MetaMask wallet.
No, sorry, you can't see
This
your MetaMax wallet. We are seeing the code to, that's not what we're saying. You're sharing the wrong screen. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? You can hear me. Can you drop a comment? I think this network is bad. If you can hear me, can you drop a comment? Okay, which means it's not my network. Alright, so I think that's not my network. It definitely is our speaker's network. It's bad. This is the problem of Nigeria when we have issues with network problem and every other thing. But it was about showing you how to deploy the contract so we can interact with it and be able to call it in our front end. When you're building a decentralized app, it's more of you building a contract and deploying it on chain. On chain being maybe a specific blockchain. It can be Ethereum, it can be Polygon, it can be any other blockchain. That's if it's a layer one blockchain that supports Solidity, whereby there are still other blockchains that don't support Solidity. So, e.g., like for example, there's this blockchain called Stellar, we're country in partnership with, and that blockchain doesn't support Solidity. It actually supports Rust. But since we're all beginners here, the best thing is to build on Solidity. That's why we're doing workshop on Solidity. So while we wait on our speaker to come back and fix his network, do anybody have any question related to what exactly was being discussed? Maybe you have a question relating to Web3 or building on Web3. Maybe you have tried building on Web3 before, and maybe there's one issue, something you don't really understand because the fact that you were not really seeing who you were interacting with. If there's something you really want to know, feel free to just drop this your question right now so I can just tackle it for you. Okay. Someone was saying that I still do not know how to start a smart contract. I think we should start with a raw folder. Oh, okay. In terms of starting a smart contract, okay, I think let me just share my screen instead. I'm not really meant to present, or I can share my screen. Let me share a specific window. I'm coming. Just give me a minute. Let me share a specific window. Okay. All right. Hold on. Go to Webmix IDE, for example. No, like before I ever go into sharing my screen, the first thing I should ask you is that, are you a dev? Have you ever written any code before? Have you ever done anything relating to maybe writing JavaScript code or any other thing? Have you done that before? You can answer that. Why? Start sharing my screen. Okay. Anyways, let me just share my screen and just show it to you. Okay, yeah, you have done that. Nice, nice. Thank you for responding. So, first of all, if for beginners, it's actually always advisable that one should start with using Remix. Someone said, yes, I've done that a lot. Okay, no problem. So for beginners, like I said, it's always advisable that one should start with Remix. And then after that, you can proceed by starting with going for adults and installing with adults. But since we're all beginners here, let me present and show you how to use Remix from scratch. Okay, hold on, please. Just give me a minute while I do that. Okay, data. This is not sharing from me. Hold on. Alright. Remix again. Alright. Remix ID again. Just give me like a minute or two. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I'm there. Now I can see it to share. Now I can see it to share. Name is shirt down. Share specific screen. Okay, now I'm sharing. So okay, yeah, you can see this remix, right? So for this, like since you're a beginner, if you're using remix for example, you can just come here and be like, okay, let me create a new file or probably create a new folder. This is, you can call this maybe testing, something you need. Probably you're creating something, I don't know, anything. And then you can come here and inside this folder you're creating a new file. And maybe it can be like test.so. Sorry. Oh, I added two dots, so to be one dot. Test.so. Okay, that's how I put. Make sure it's just like dot so. Let me delete this and do it again. So it already built already, so I have to delete it and do it again so that it will not pop up error. Delete and then do it again. New folder, create a new folder. Let's do it again. Test and then create a new file. Sorry, new file. Make it test dot experiment. It's been a long time since I've used Remix. I don't really use Remix. And then if you come here, for example, there's this costume that probably it was one of those contracts that Remix gives you. But one thing about Remix is that it gives you different contracts to just play around with. This is one of them because I don't really use Remix. I always use um VS Code and how that to write my contract. So just imagine you doing this. You create a folder and there's this file. You named it probably test or file or testing of file, whatever it is you name it, and then you start writing your code. But since you don't really have knowledge about writing smart contract, it's always advisable to first of all take classes on it. There's ciphering of updraft. There's different um there are different places you can learn from. We women therefore if you're lady, but we are actually trying to build our launch our next training on skill up training whereby you can learn smart contract from scratch. But if you're not a lady, maybe you are a guy and you want to learn, you can also reach out to me. I can tell you where exactly you can learn from different communities and different open source places you can learn from. So you said my screen is not showing. Are you serious? Um oh sorry. Okay. I'm very, very sorry. I didn't see that. Okay. All right. I think it's moving now. Yeah, I think it's moving now. I was sharing the wrong one. So I'm pretty sure it's moving now. So when you just like you came to Remix, you see this default thing like this. They give you project template and every other thing, and you see there's something about ERC20. There's something about different templates here. But you can see in here, it gave me a default template. It gave me a storage contract. It gave me owner contract. It gave me ballot contract. Different things it gave to me. So I think this is how you just create. You can just have to create your own normal file in here and then you create a normal contract, maybe test.so, then you start writing from scratch. And like what our speaker was saying, make sure that this line of code is always here and um this one's always here too. There are different versions you can use. So I think our speaker is coming. Hold on, let me confirm that. So we can just round everything up and see. All right. Okay. So does anybody have any other question before we just round it up? You understand how you can create normal file now? Good luck. Do you understand now? Our speaker said there's issue with his network, that it's raining heavily. So that's the reason why I can't really log in back. But since I'm here with you, I can use the opportunity to just handle one of the things and explain to you before our time goes up. So just let me know if it's something you feel like you don't really understand. You can just have a look on it. And why we do that? Um, okay. So for anybody that has that really want to know more about Ethereum or writing smart contracts, you're only advisable to read about the Ethereum book. You can start from there. I will share the book with you, and then you can also read use solid start writing solidity code using there's a solidity book for that as well. I can share that with you. And once more, I'm very, very sorry about the fact that our speaker has network. You know, Nigeria problem. It's something that we can't really do. Someone asked me a question and said that until I'm able to build a smart contract from VS Code and deploy, I'm still not okay. Okay, good luck. I think for that, I think I can hold a special session with you for that. Um, just to make it up, a special session for you that so you can still know. But I would love to ask you a question, good luck. Have you ever like learned solidity on your own before? Like, have you started learning it, or is it that this is your first time into solidity? So I can know where to tackle this from. This is your first time into solidity. Have you ever learned anything on solidity before? Are you a Web3 dev? That's the question I'm asking. Are you a Web3 dev? Have you ever wrote anything smart contract before? Okay, all right. Just waiting for your response though. But like I said, okay, you said I've learned the basics. Okay. That means you have never deployed a contract before. Have you ever deployed a contract before? Have you ever deployed a contract before? If you haven't, well, like I said, I can actually point you to the right resources and help you to join the right community that are going to help build you up. And like I said, I'm going to make this up with you guys. I'm going to hold good luck. I want you to send me a DM on Twitter and tell me you're the guy from this workshop. And I'm going to hold a special session with you. I'm going to tell you how you're going to do that. So I'm very sorry about everything that happened here. No problem. I can see you have not done that before, and no problem. I'm going to hold a special session with you and discuss everything and tell you how you can do that. So there's no issue with that. But like I said, once more, I'm sorry about the network issue and every other thing. This is Nigeria, like things happen and something that is beyond our control. But like I said, if you have any other question you want to ask, feel free to just drop a question and I can tackle it here. But if it's something way more technical, right now I didn't prepare to host this section, but I can give you a one-on-one section whereby I can explain things to you, help you deploy your first contract and do other things as well. So I'm very, very sorry about that. Look, like I said, my speaker is going to have a network issue and is the one that is meant to do all this. So if you don't mind, please send me a DM by Twitter so I can do that for you as well. So sorry guys for everything. See you guys next month and I promise it will not be like this. Bye everyone.